Hello, and thank you. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel if you have subscribed. If you're just thinking about subscribing, well, thank you very much as well. After all, it's a nice thought, and maybe you will subscribe. So let me describe a little bit about the channel if you have subscribed already, and also if you're thinking of subscribing. If you have subscribed, you've probably watched at least one of the videos. If you're thinking about subscribing, you've probably also watched at least one of the videos. Broadly speaking, there is an umbrella within which I will operate, within which I will produce content. However, it may at first glance not seem exactly linear, because probably it isn't. Most of us don't think in a linear way anyway. It's kind of dangerous in a complex environment. What I probably won't do is talk about Formula One, racing, or astronomy. They're both interesting topics. Where I might talk about them is, let's say that in Formula One there were some leadership issues. Let's say in astronomy, maybe we find that, hold on a second, there's complex life on another planet, for sure. Leadership issues, me talking about them, maybe that's obvious. Why complex life on another planet would I talk about that? Because, well, there's a philosophical clout to that, is there not? You've probably wondered yourself, I have. Where did we come from? Why are we here? Where are we going? And so those two areas, I guess, kind of define in some ways at least a couple of the parameters within which I'll operate. So philosophical questions, psychological questions, and also questions about leadership. And that leadership is us and our ability to lead ourselves, to be resourceful through life as we make progress. So self-leadership, and self-leadership, we can do it better if we have a more nuanced and subtle toolkit, or at least some strategies and approaches to take in different situations. If you imagine that we will, as we go through life, meet obstacles that we have to overcome to go around or over, or sometimes just blast through. And that being the case, it's probably more beneficial for us if we have a choice of how we can overcome those obstacles. And in overcoming those obstacles, then I think it's fair to say that we'll probably need resilience. If we need resilience, then we need to manage emotions. We need to be able to emotionally regulate rather than dysregulate. And if we're heading towards something, overcoming these obstacles, going around or over or through, then this implies that we have goals. So goals is in the mix as well, as is resilience, emotional intelligence, goal-directed behaviour, habits, conditioning, and indeed any strategy to a degree that can help improve our performance during any given day and in any given situation. And so because of that, I would be interested in the self-leadership of those people, let's say in Formula One. Though again, it's highly unlikely I'll make a video about that, but you never know. But also in Formula One, in politics, in business, in communities, we have leaders who have positional leadership influence. And I'm interested in them as well, because if you look around on the world stage, let's say, but it doesn't have to be on the world stage, there are a lot of people who are really carrying a lot of clout, and their decisions and their behaviours impacts us sometimes quite immediately, sometimes in a subtle way, but often a powerful way. And so these people, well, they need to be transparent, in my opinion, in their behaviours, their dealings, their machinations. And also we need to be able to call out, to challenge some of those behaviours. Because again, the world is a smaller place. Things that happen around the other side of the planet, or around the edge of the disk, if that's the way your mind works, then these days they can ripple around to us pretty quickly, to say the least. So it is, as I've suggested, a smaller world. Communication is pretty much instantaneous, And so decisions that people are making when they have a lot of clout, I think it's eyes on as far as possible. And as I've suggested, transparency. We need to encourage integrity. So if I put these two things together, the leadership of self and leading from a position of influence, then there's an overlap as well, is there not? You may in fact be in a leadership position or something that people could describe as leadership, could be supervising, could be creating policy, could be heading up a business, an organization, a community. Your voice is listened to. And if that's the case, then I want to make sure that you have access to things that can help develop you and develop me. This is all work in progress for all of us. But as I've said, even if you're not in a position of, let's say, authority as far as the org chart is concerned, we all have authority. We all have agency in our own lives. And I think for each and every one of us, it can be made better. We can do better if we have access to the tools, the strategies, the information, the knowledge, the learning, the coaching, the mentoring that maybe I can offer as well as we go through that journey, to use a hackneyed phrase. But I think it is a journey, and I think most of us would like to improve and evolve during that journey. And this is in part, again, what these ideas, strategies, insights are that are contained in the videos. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And then back to astronomy, life on another planet, the philosophical questions. I think it's so important for us to reflect. Without reflection, which is as often as not created by us considering what happened that day or how that interaction went, which is feedback from the environment. So without that, considering the feedback from the environment on a day-to-day basis, or at least once a week, then it's unlikely that we will flex and change in a way that is conducive to us being as effective as we can be. And so that's kind of it. The subscriptions themselves help because, like it or not, whether you like it, whether I like it, numbers, well, they make a difference to algorithms. They help increase visibility, and also that increase in visibility may attract, may connect me, this channel, and therefore you, to other people as well. And I can talk to them. I want to interview more people. I want to talk to people about their strategies behind why they did some stuff, what supports them, how are they resilient, what are their belief systems like, what are their habits like, what do they do when the going gets tough, what's their version of doing the right thing. And talking to people who've had that experience, who may be in some positions of influence as well, but also, and perhaps more importantly, have lived through certain things and are still there, are successful, whatever that means. I want to talk to them because I think that those people can help us understand what strategies we may not be employing or employing enough, and also what they did to get through certain things. We can learn from them. So that's one of the reasons that subscriptions are really useful. And of course, ultimately, you may have sensed this already. What I'm attempting to do is to create a community going forward where we'll all learn, we'll all develop, and hopefully, ultimately, we'll all get better at being better and doing the right thing. Anyway, I hope that makes some sense, but thank you for subscribing. Thank you so much. And if you're considering it, well, thank you for considering it. I think I've got to press a button.